We've all started places. We started as an intern. We got our first job, a summer job, the next job, but we move along the path towards career success. And for many of us, that means a lot of different jobs. When you start as an intern and you end as the president of that same company, man, that takes grit. Meet Andy Felter next.
This is A Dash of Grit. Recipes for success from courageous leaders who overcome challenges and build great things. Now, podcasting from Spire to leaders in local communities like yours, here is Brian Leflock.
And let's get cooking. So Dash of Grit talks about hurdles and struggles along the way. And when we talk about along the way, usually it's from point C to point D, or from point M to point J, or however. Very rarely is it from beginning to end, A to Z. Today is a lot about transitions, and it's about company transitions and personal transitions. Talk about starting from zero and ending up the hero. That's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to do so with our guest, Andy Felter. He's the president and CEO of Webster Industries Incorporated. Now, Webster Industries is based in Tiffin. They've got 3 locations nationwide. They serve an international audience. They do engineered, get this right, Andy, engineered conveyor components manufacturer. And here's what this means. I'm going to take a shot at this, Andy. What this means, if you picture the forestry industry or recycling or grain, and you've got a big pile of stuff that needs to move from here to there, they need chains and they need conveyors, and that's what you do, right?
Absolutely. We're advancing products and putting them through products, all our processes all over the world.
Yeah, and it's such an important job, and it keeps America moving. And when you guys go down, businesses go down. And so you're really important. We thank you for your service. Andy, welcome to Dash of Grit.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I'm glad to be here and glad to share some of my stories. So
I'm really glad you're on the show, and I can't wait to get to your story. I'm going to give a hint real quick. You started at the company as an intern. You're now the CEO president, and I can't wait to talk about that. Before we do, share with me some good stuff. Brag a little bit about Webster. What are the things you accomplished? What are the things that you're proudest of? Tell me how success looks like before we talk about the grit.
Yeah, well, we're long-term thinkers and long-term business manufacturers in industry. We were established in 1876 by Towner K. Webster, and really developed the company over 140 plus years through 3 different ownership groups. Basically, Towner K. Webster was the first owner. Then the Nordholt family owned the business privately here locally from about 1930 something, 1940s through the 1980 period. And then after that, the family sold the company to the employees here in Tiffin, Ohio, and the employees have owned the business since 1986.
Fantastic. And that's success in itself. The whole Esop idea, employees owned, is fantastic. What an amazing way to treat your customers and your employees.
Yeah, I tell people every day that, I work for the employee owners of Webster. That's my position here at Webster as the president and CEO. And I report to them every single day and work hard in their behalf. And that's what makes it great here too, is that we do work for ourselves and we do work for the people that are right here in Tiffin, Ohio as an ownership group. We're not working for shareholders that are outside the area or investors or people like that. We work for ourselves. And so that means Webster's success is our people's success and vice versa. So
yeah. And that's what it's all about. And the people that you work with and for, as you said, they live there and they contribute to that community and they're part of the success of the whole fabric. And you're really making a difference in that. So congratulations. Well done. You are at the top of the chain, right? CEO, president, but you didn't start there. You started as an intern. And I'm interested just in diving right in. It's easy to start something. It's also easy to quit. Tell me about the journey from intern to CEO. Where did you have to show the grit to accomplish that?
Yeah, I have to give a lot of credit to my predecessor, Fred Spurk, who was the president and CEO before I came on board, and some of the management team that were in place then. And that was at the beginning of the ESOP, because I started in 1986, the same time the ESOP started. I started as an intern from Ohio State and got an opportunity to work with the management team when the Esop first started and got orchestrated here in Tiffin. And so learned right along with those folks and got an opportunity to really wear a lot of hats in the organization. I was an accounting finance major at Ohio State, but I didn't relegate myself to just accounting and finance. I did industrial engineering and really learned the whole operation at an early stage. I actually did time studies when I first started here at Webster, and did some industrial engineering stuff, cost accounting and different things. And I figured out, early on that I really loved that type of work, wear a lot of hats, more of an entrepreneurial type business that is invested in making improvements all the time and really allowing people to reach out and branch out and take on other duties and responsibilities that aren't necessarily in your line of work or niche that you thought you were going to be in, like you would be in a larger corporation or less than an entrepreneurial type organization that Webster really was. So that was my early start. I did that with some relatively young executives that just started in the business in an ESOP and learned from those folks. And actually left the company for a while, for about 5 or 6 years, and went into the automotive industry and learned that business a little bit, but got recruited back to Webster in 1996. And ever since then, I've had a number of different roles, from corporate controller to operations, back into operations, vice president of operations, and served a lot of different roles. And I guess the big challenging thing, the thing I really loved about that was that I did get an opportunity to be in different roles, take on different responsibilities, learn along the way, because I like to learn new things. And I like to have a vision of what the company could be in the future. And also, I really love the purpose of Webster, which is really just advancing people for a better opportunity for those folks that work here every single day, or work in Newburgh, Oregon, where we're at, or work in Meridian, Mississippi, where we're at also. I love seeing the success of those people. I did it an early part of my career here at Webster and loved working in those teams and that family environment, and forward and giving those people an opportunity to really advance their lives. And so that's what I really loved about it. So, and after that, I really had an opportunity to keep developing as some of those early executives retired. The leadership team retired. I replaced Vice President of Operations, which was George Talford. And then later, the succession of Fred, who wanted to move on. We needed to select a new president to take the company forward. And that's when I got that job in 2010. And this is about the 10-year anniversary of the time that I've been president of the organization.
So that's a rapid climb. There's all kinds of questions that I want to ask. I'm wondering about, I hear a lot, and I think we talk a lot about imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome is, okay, I'm in this job. I hope no one figures out that I really don't know what I'm doing. And I'm wondering if there was ever that time along the path, like we all start small and we all end up where we end up, and that's fine. That's very similar. But you've taken positions that you've seen been done a different way. You've seen better people than you at the time do them, and now it's up to you. Was there ever a time when you're like, look, I'm way in over my head here. Don't they realize I'm still just the intern? Did that ever happen?
Absolutely. I mean, there's been several times in my career, but in particular, obviously when I became president, Fred's advice was, that's the loneliest job in the world, kind of scared me actually at first. It's like, well, that's a great endorsement for this new position. It's the loneliest job in the world. And, you got tons of responsibility, 300 and some employees that you're really all responsible for all those folks. And, it was definitely daunting. And it was also daunting because I wanted to do it in my own way too. I had a limited amount of experience working for the same company for a long period of time, which was great and gave me a lot of insight into the company, but it also didn't allow for maybe a lot of room for doing it a different way. And I really wanted to do it a different way. So that was kind of a challenge for me to figure out how to, honor the past history that we've had and the great successes that we've had, but also implement change in the organization and really take us forward to whole nother level. Was really kind of a daunting task and something in my mind that was making me think, am I really going to be able to do this and change this company of 140-year history in a significant way and change it into a new direction? And that was a little bit challenging at first.
Yeah. So tell me more about that. What give me an example perhaps of something that you tried to do that maybe there was pushback, either you kept going or realized that you were wrong. Give me some examples of where being the new kid in the seat, but yet the person that everyone knew was challenging for you.
Yeah, I think it was just, in a lot of ways, thinking about things in a different way. We were over time, we were a foundry operation or a maker of conveyor chain components. And what we've tried to be is more of a solutions provider, a customer focused company that solves problems for our customers, whether it's chain or conveyors, vibratory equipment, or castings in some instances. How can we change our model from just being a manufacturer of this product to a solutions provider that provides technical expertise to people and really grow our business? And, that was a really kind of a reach because we were before into really kind of a conservative company. We were financially secure, but we really weren't looking for a lot of growth or market share increase. And what we really felt at the time was we were primed for growth and really advancing the company forward. And if you remember back in 2010, when I became president, was coming off the Great Recession of 2008 and 9. So, our business was at a relatively low level back then, and thinking about doubling our stock price or doubling our sales top line revenues was kind of a daunting task. So, those were some of the goals we set for ourselves over the next 5 to 10 years. And, we did achieve those. So,
yeah. And at the same time you were making those changes, the company was also transitioning into the Esop model. And I'm wondering if that transition at the same time that you were trying to lead a new direction, did that add a layer of hurdles, or did it actually help the process? Was there a time when both those things kind of came together and either was the perfect storm or the perfect highway?
Yeah, I think it's both. There's hurdles and there's opportunity in that. Certainly the employees have a vested interest in, like I said before, the success of each individual employee is success of the company, and success of the company gets paid back in, retirement benefits and stock price, basically, without going into a lot of detail.
Yes.
That's how it works. So, employees benefit by company success, but also it creates some challenges too, because you have people that are ready to retire and they're cashing in their benefit that they've worked their 25, 30-year career.
That's right.
And want to take their money away from the company and have a good retirement, which we wanted people to be able to do that. So that was a concern, but also keep the company viable and in existence for the next generation of folks that are coming along, which we were successful in both angles, as far as I'm concerned. We did honor those people that have invested a great deal of their life for the company, and they had a really nice retirement when they left, and the company retirement program really worked out well for them. But we sustained the company and actually grew the company over the last 10 years to being something even more than it was back in 2010, when a number of those executives and senior folks retired. So,
yeah. And I get it. I get the model of. I think I've been a commissioned salesperson all my life. I work for what I earn. I believe in my company. I feel like an owner of my company, even though I'm not. I understand that if I don't do well, we don't do well. And I think so. I get that model. What's the hardest part about being the president of a company that's an Esop company? Is there pushback, things that they don't understand, the employees that don't get it, or what's the hardest thing about that maybe is different of being a president of your company as opposed to maybe a similar company that's not an Esop model?
Well, I'm not exactly certain about that because my business philosophy and I think our business purpose here at Webster is really about putting people first,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes it maybe easier to have that model because we are all owners too. But, so maybe from that perspective, it makes it a little bit easier running an ESOP company because it's easy to put people first when you don't have to worry about outside shareholders and constituents as much. I mean, we're all still worried about the customer. That's first and foremost. I mean,
Right.
Those are the people that we really want to take care of. But underneath all that, we really do want to advance people and we want to make them successful and we want to make their families successful and we want to make the communities successful that we're in. So
Mm-hmm.
from that perspective, maybe it's a little bit easier running an ESOP company. But my philosophy is that I would want to be doing that no matter what kind of company I was running. And we want to be long-term thinkers. We don't want to be short-term thinkers for the, stock price this quarter or the stock price this year, or even the stock price the next 3 years. We want to be sustainable for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. We've been in existence for over 145 years. So this is actually our 145th anniversary of the company's history.
Wow.
So, we want to be here for another 150 years. I won't be, but I would be happy to look down, and if Webster's still in existence 100 years from now, I would be totally pleased about that. So
you're an intern that came from you were an intern and you rose all the way to the top. When you look to hire folks, do you look for the same kind of go get them attitude? Do you look for something? How do you go about building that culture in your company that people want to stay and be a part of what you do?
Yeah, I think we have a real strong value system here, and it's part of the communities that we exist in. We exist in smaller communities, 20,000 people, 25,000 people, and Tiffin, Meridian, Mississippi, and Newburgh, Oregon, which is about a 24,000 people town. And, I think that value system really kind of projects into our employee level too. We call it, care values because it's have a can-do approach to life and work, always do what's right, respect one another, and have a little bit of everyday grit, which is your podcast.
Yes, sir.
That's one of our core values is grit, because I think we have a lot of people that have a lot of intestinal fortitude and grit and determination every single day to get up and try to get better every single day. And that's what makes our company really great is we live out those 4 values every single day. And we try to revolve everything we do, every strategy we do around corporate health, which is centered on those care values that we have. So,
yeah, it's one of the things I love about your company and what I know about it is that those value statements are entrepreneurial value statements. If I was starting my own business, they might be extremely similar, and yet you're a international, very large, relatively speaking, company, corporate approach, and yet you keep those. I'm interested now in the future. So what's next for Webster Industries? Where are you going? Where do you see hurdles coming? Where do you see issues? And where do you see the next opportunity for you and your team to show some real grit to make the good things happen in the future?
Yeah, I think, one thing that happened last year was our 10-year anniversary of what I call our new leadership team. It was 10 years from 2010 when we started this journey. And, it just happened to be a pandemic year too, which was, we had to show a lot of grit and determination during that time. But, what I'm really proud about our team, and I think we've done great, is we really had that grit and determination to get through that pandemic and really work together and be agile and, work from home when we had to and adjust and come back to work when we had to and keep the plant running and all those things. And we even embarked on a growth effort during that time, even though sales were down and, things looked kind of grim and we didn't know if business was going to come back. We were confident that we were going to be sustainable and we were going to do some good things. So we ventured off into an acquisition mode, and we actually bought the business in Newburgh, Oregon, which was called Action Equipment Company. And we took on 35 more associates and added to our revenue streams, and really leveraged a product that was already in our product of our portfolio of products, vibratory equipment, and really extended that model beyond. So I think, we reached deep and didn't just say, hey, are we going to sustain ourselves through the pandemic? We said, hey, we're not only going to get through it, we're going to be better coming out of it, stronger, and we're going to add more people to our organization. We're going to impact more lives, and we're going to grow our business and be more significant to more customers in our industries that we serve. And, so far we've been successful at that. And it's been a really good acquisition. They're doing great out there. We're doing really, have some strong business volume going on right now with, like everybody else, business has really bounced back in the manufacturing industry, steep demand for our products, which our biggest challenge is really just how are we going to make sure that our supply chain keeps us in products that we buy, and also how are we going to man up this increase in capacity that we need to really kind of grow our business, service all customers that buy our products, because they're domestically made and we service better than everybody else. And, we do all some great things. So how are we going to make sure that we can service all the people that really want our products? So basically is the big hurdle right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so inspiring that by taking that time when things were down, when the chips were down, and you invested and grew, and now you're able to impact all these companies. And I said at the beginning of the podcast, you make America kind of work. If you're down, if your business is down, they're down. You got to have this stuff has to move. Yeah. And without that, everything stops. You're impacting the growth of a lot of people, impacting a lot of jobs in a lot of communities through a lot of businesses. And you did that through the growth. Is there what's going to stop you? What's the thing that could make things kind of hit a wall in the future? Let's pretend that COVID goes away. But what else could, with this rapid expansion, what else could get in the way of your future growth?
Yeah, I know. I should probably say that, the reason we did that is because I trust the people we have here to do some great things. We have great people in all areas of the company. So that's what gave us the confidence to really go forward and really invest in our business instead of being cautious or scared and being aggressive, because we have great people that work here every single day and they can take our company forward. Yeah. There are some things I'm concerned about. They're mostly internal though. We don't worry about things outside of the company. We don't worry necessarily about competition. We don't worry about those external factors as much as we are concerned with how are we going to get better every single day here at Webster, and how is each individual going to make a contribution to getting better every single day. That we know, if we do that, I know we're going to be great. We're going to do great things, and we're not going to have any of those hurdles to overcome. I mentioned things about supply chain being a clink in the link of supply and manufacturing, and that's certainly a concern. We buy steel; that's our main purchased commodity, and everybody knows that steel prices are going up on a consistent basis, and there's allocations, and it's tough to get steel, and for those reasons that the global market is just hungry for. Demand is high, and it's going to continue to go high. So that can be a hurdle, but I think we'll overcome that. We'll figure out ways to really make that happen. The other thing that I guess maybe I'm most concerned about is really just adding people to the organization that can replace the great people we have now. Everybody's not going to be here forever. Right. And we have a lot of people that are retiring from our organization. because they had great careers, 25, 30 years, 40 years in some instances, and how do you replace those people? You don't replace them. You try to build up over time, and you have programs like, emerging leader programs or journeyman programs for our manufacturing technicians, and all those kind of development tools and ideas to bring people up in the organization, to help them succeed, because that's what's going to keep the organization going.
Yeah. Thank you, Andy. We're going to wrap up in just a second. I want to a quick plug for my company. And you bring up, Andy, the idea of people and trust in your people, which allows you to expand. And it's one of the things about Spire that I love. I've worked with Spire now for 12 of the 15 years that they've been in business. And I never have once sold something to a customer that our people didn't deliver with excellence. And that is such an amazing thing for a salesperson, for an owner, for whoever. If you're representing your company, you're also counting on the people within that company. And so a quick shout out to my folks at Spire as a little bit of a commercial or plug for ourselves, because it's my show and I can.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for a team of people that are true experts, true people better than me, but can deliver the things that I want you to have, then I want you to reach out to Spire. We are at spiread.com. I'm Brian Leffelock. You'll find me on LinkedIn. You can also find the Dash of Grit podcast wherever you get podcasts, on Spotify or iHeart or iTunes. And Andy, thank you so much for being a guest on our show and sharing your story. I love the fact that you started and yet you finished. A lot of people find an extra on-ramp, off-ramp or two to go and try something else, to chase something shiny. And congratulations to you for sticking it through and being a great leader for a lot of people and helping them stick it through too. That's so important. And thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Brian. I'm in for the long haul, and I want to see this company succeed. And, a little plug to your company, Spire, too. It's helped us learn a lot and realize some things about ourselves and marketing and telling our story that I think are really pertinent and important right now. And, I think you guys have helped us a lot already. So I'm looking forward to the future with you guys too.
Me too. Lots of grit in store and lots of good things on the other side. So Andy, thank you for being a guest on A Dash of Grit. Folks, we do this once a week. That is Andy Felter of Webster Industries. If you would like to get a hold of Webster Industries, or even Andy, if they have questions about Esop or management styles, whatever, I imagine they could reach out to you. How would you have them do so?
Email is afelter@websterchain.com, or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, afelter on LinkedIn, just look me up, Andrew Felter, LinkedIn.
However that works. Somehow the magic of today's media
will handles afelter, something like that. So
very good. Very good. Andy, thank you for being on the show. This is Dash of Grit, folks. We do this once a week. Until the next time, please be gritty and win the day.
This is A Dash of Grit. Recipes for success from courageous leaders who overcome challenges and build great things.